Okay,
Yeah.
this is going to be my last question. Many parents, they are only thinking to big name university, top university, Ivy League. They forget something, that big names are good, top university are good. To my saying, not everybody fit for that.
That's
Am I
right.
correct? Can
You're
you-
exactly right. I did my undergraduate degree at a Christian university just like Northwest, a small university. It was perfect for me.
How small? Northwest
It was
University.
about, Northwest has about 1,000 students. Yeah, so it's small. And small is good, especially for students who would get lost in a bigger environment. I needed to go to a small school. After I graduated from my Christian university, I went on to Princeton and to Columbia. I finished my doctorate at Columbia University in New York City. It was wonderful to go to a top university like that, but I wasn't ready to do it at age 18. And every kid is different, and nobody knows kids better than their parents do. Now, Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book called David and Goliath a few years ago. I bought it in Indonesia and read it here several years ago. But in that book, he talked about the phenomenon of students who are very bright and who get into Ivy League universities. But because everybody there is super brilliant, they're the bottom of their class. And he talked about how it can hurt their confidence and cause them to not realize how smart they are. It would be better for them to go to another university where they're the top students than to be the bottom of Harvard. So unless you think your kid's going to be the best student at Harvard, you might think about sending them to a place where they'll be the top, where they will be. It's not about having a top university degree, it's about having a top graduate. And companies are looking for kids who have confidence, who have a record of success, who've proven themselves and believe in themselves and have a good education. We send students every year to the top universities in the United States for graduate schools. We have students at Duke, at Harvard, even at this moment, and they get in every year to the best schools in the country for graduate work. That's a great way to approach it. But not every student wants to go to Harvard or Princeton or Yale right out of high school. And so you have to figure out who your kid is and what their best future is going to be. But going to a smaller university can be a really good option.
Probably this is my last one, not that one. This one is going to be well. What do you think compared to college, community college, compare with Northwest University?
I wouldn't send my kid to a community college.
Why
And I
that?
didn't send my daughters to community college. The kids who go to community college in the United States are usually the lowest academic performers. Now, it's a very important thing, and everyone ought to get a chance to go to college, and that's good. But those colleges exist so that the weakest students have a second chance, as it were. Maybe they didn't perform very well in high school, but they go to community college and get a second chance. Or the students from the poorest families that can't afford to go to top universities, they'll go to community college because it's really cheap.
Yep.
But it's not cheap for foreign students. They
Yeah.
charge you a bunch of extra money.
Yep.
You could go to a private university with a much better educational standard for the same money or even less than you're
Yep.
paying to go to community college. So why would you send your kids from Indonesia to the bottom tier of American colleges?
Okay.
It makes no sense. They're top tier students. Send them to a good school.
Okay.
It won't cost you more, and they'll get a better education, and they'll have a much better social environment at a private school like Northwest than they'll have at those big community colleges in the United States.
I'm gonna ask about scholarship. So, Mr. President, do you have anything about scholarship?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Northwest University is fairly unique. Most American universities see foreign students or international students as cash cows.
Oh.
It's wonderful income for them because they charge them the full amount,
Oh, okay.
and they have to pay more than all the other students because
Yes.
they're from a foreign country.
Yep.
Northwest doesn't look at international students that way, so we make the same financial aid available to international students that we offer to our American students.
Are you saying? Am I listening to the right one? Same between.
Yes, it's the same. You know, an international student can't get American government aid.
Yep.
That's different.
Yep.
But we offer the same university scholarships as our American students get. So the presidential scholarship.
International students.
Oh, yes. A
Oh.
presidential scholarship is full tuition. only the very best students get a presidential scholarship, but international students can compete for those scholarships just like the American students. And then there's the provost level scholarship, and then there's the dean's level, and then there's the professor level. And so there are different levels of scholarship, and they can qualify for these scholarships based on two criteria. One is their academic performance, their high school grades. And the second is their financial need. So we have some students at Northwest who were from the poorest places in the world. I don't know if you saw the movie, The Queen of Katwe. It was a Disney movie that came out a few years ago. It was about a girl from Uganda who was on the chess Olympic team for her country. Well, she came to Northwest on a full tuition scholarship. She was from the slums of Katwe in Uganda, and she couldn't afford to go to college anywhere, not even in Uganda. But she got a full scholarship at Northwest, and she did wonderfully well. And she and her countryman Benjamin Makumbia, they were the anchor of our championship chess team that won the small college division of the Pan American Chess Championships. And you know who their other teammate was? Ryan Vargas from Indonesia. So both she and Benjamin both had full tuition scholarships at Northwest. Now, that's very rare. Not every student's going to get a full tuition scholarship. But a bright student from Indonesia qualifies just like an American student for academic scholarships.
Wow. And guess what? The gentleman behind the camera, who happened to be just this morning, an hour ago that we met, suddenly we found out that he was graduated from Northwest University.
Good to see you.
I'm gonna interview you probably after today. Mr. Pompey, I'm gonna interview him probably after today. So can you mention a few Indonesian alumni that have been with you, or do you know some of the parents here that you want to highlight about this?
Yeah, well, Ricky Gunawan is a really good one. He's working for Ernst & Young now as a business consultant. He was a business major at Northwest. He's doing very well. Another one of our alumni here in Indonesia is Elvina Chokosaputra Rusli, and she is, I think, Chief Operating Officer at Batik Kris. Her grandfather founded Batik Kris years ago, and now she's running the company along with her mother. And we're very proud of Elvina. She's doing a terrific job here in Indonesia. And then there's Dave Kenny. He's pastor of International English Service here in Jakarta.
Hi, Pastor Dave.
Wonderful graduate of Northwest from years ago, and he's a great friend of ours here in Indonesia. But there are many, many others as well.
So I'm gonna close the discussion. Do you have any special comments, special advice, special message to the Indonesian students, the Indonesian parents, especially the one from Jakarta?
Well, you know, when we think about our kids going to college, we tend to think about them and their welfare and you know, their future. That's really important. But it isn't just about our kids. It's about a whole society. It's about the future of the world. We have tremendous challenges that we're facing in the world today. And it's very, very important that Indonesia take its place among the leaders of the world. You have the 4th largest population in the world. Within 30 years, you may have one of the top 2 or 3 economies in the world. It's really important that we build Indonesia into a country that will take its place of leadership and be a blessing to the whole world. So it isn't just about our kids. It's about the future of the world. And you want to give your kids the best education that they can get, an education that fits them and fits their sense of calling, their sense of purpose, their talents, their abilities. And with that, maybe it's just one drop of water in the bucket. When lots of people keep doing these same things and invest in the future by investing in their kids, then we'll build a better world for all of the human race and build a better international community. And the international relationships are going to be really important. A few years ago, we had an Indonesian as president of the United States, in Barack Obama. He lived for a long time in Indonesia. He spoke Bahasa perfectly.
Yes.
And he was an interesting person because he mastered 3 cultures really well. He understood the culture of white people in the United States, because he had a white mother and grew up with white grandparents in Hawaii. He understood Indonesia, could speak the language here. And he understood the Black American community. He married a black woman and he lived in that community and worked in that community. He had mastered 3 cultures. He was a multicultural person.
Yep.
And the future of the world belongs to multicultural people.
Okay.
People who have mastered more than one culture. Because it used to be every country kind of lived in its own world and there was some interaction between them, but mostly you could live a very local life. That's over. Globalization is for real and it's forever. And so now it's a world in which everybody is interacting with everybody all the time. You can be on social media, you can be on mass media, and you can travel the world cheaply. I mean, you can go anywhere now at a very low price compared to what it used to be. The world is mixing like never before. And people who have mastered more than one language and more than one culture are going to have enormous advantage in the future. They're going to be the presidents, they're going to be the corporate leaders, they're going to be the ones who really rise above because they understand the big picture of what's going on in the world. Economics is global from now on, it's not just local. So we need to be cosmopolitan people who understand the world. That's why I love coming to Indonesia so much, and I love going to Singapore. And I spent 20 years in Latin America, and I speak Spanish as well as I do English, just as strongly. And I go to Europe constantly, and we have students from around the world at Northwest. We want to be the most international university in America. Why? Because we believe in the future of the human race. We believe in great international relationships. We believe in the value of different cultures. And we know that the more we expose ourselves to each other, the better it's going to be. So I really congratulate those parents who believe in the future, send their kids for an international education, and of course we'll send them back home to Indonesia to make a great impact here.
Wow, I really have to thank you deh, Mr. President. Saya kasih summary-nya sedikit ya. Saya kasih summary. Jadi kita baru saja bicara tentang Northwest University. Ada 3 poin yang dari tadi Mr. President jelaskan. Yang pertama tentang bagaimana dari culture-nya mereka. Mereka sangat memperhatikan dari sisi bukan cuma akademik, tapi juga di sisi luar akademik. Itu yang pertama. Yang kedua, bicara tentang apa? Bicara tentang industri network-nya. Bicara tentang location-nya mereka yang luar biasa. Karena betul-betul membuat orang-orang jadi punya kesempatan untuk punya kerja. Dan yang ketiga, tadi diceritakan tentang affordable, tentang beasiswanya, dan ini semua ada di Northwest University. Northwest University ada undergraduate, tapi ada graduate levelnya juga. Ada MBA-nya, ada masternya, ada doctorate-nya, ada PhD-nya. Mau tunggu apa lagi? Dan kalau ada yang mau nanya, silakan langsung aja. So thank you very much for the discussion.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih banyak. Oke, salam dari Swita Universal. Kita ketemu di episode yang akan datang.